and welcome to the first episode of the year of Tribe Choices at the Movies. I'm Kara Minix.
And I'm Ellen Dando.
And today we're going to be doing a summer blockbusters recap. The first movie that we're going to be talking about is Avengers Age of Ultron, which came out on May 1st, which was the first sort of big movie of the summer. What did you think of this movie? Did you see this? I assume you saw this.
I feel like if you're American, you kind of had to have seen this movie. So obviously it was hard to kind of build off of the first Avengers just because
it was really good.
It was really, really good, and it, in my opinion, kind of revolutionized the superhero format because it was the first juggernaut, and then of course now everyone's trying to copy that. I think it was a great decision for them to have Joss Whedon come back again and direct. I don't really know if a lot of people could handle it.
Yeah, like I'm a big fan of Joss Whedon, and it seems to me, having watched the movie and like read interviews and stuff, that if they had let him do what he wanted, then it would have been a great movie. But he had to include all of the like Marvel lore stuff to set up for like
Phase 3,
Civil War, and the Infinity Gauntlet stuff, which I think really detracted from the movie. Yeah. We should also probably address the Black Widow controversy.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, here's my thing. Basically, if you don't know, people were upset because they had Black Widow they gave her and Bruce Banner sort of this weird, like, love storyline, which in and of itself was a bit strange. The thing was they had her like be insecure about because like in her training program basically they made it so that she can't have kids, and then she gets upset by that, and at one point she says like, oh, I'm a monster because I can't have kids, which obviously is not true, and I don't think that they were trying to say that that is the case. And I think a lot of women that are infertile do feel that way because a lot of women want to have kids, and I don't think that it detracts from the character that she like would maybe be interested in having kids, because you can be a strong woman and want kids.
Absolutely.
But I think what the issue was there, for me at least, was that they didn't have Bruce Banner say like, oh, like that's not true, like you're not a monster, because obviously to me it seems like that's what the character would have done. Yeah. If you like superhero movies, it's worth a watch. Yeah. But if you don't like superhero movies, you're not gonna like this movie. Yeah, it's by far not the worst superhero movie I've never seen. True.
And to be honest, my expectations weren't that sky high just from seeing trailers and kind of build up. I had a good time.
There was some like good fights.
Yeah, I wasn't. But at the same time, I definitely did not have the experience of when I first saw Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy.
So our rating is it's fine.
Yeah.
You can see this movie in these places. Mad Max Fury Road and Pitch Perfect 2 actually both came out on the same day, May 15th. So we'll talk about Mad Max Fury Road first, I guess. This is like our favorite movie of the
hands
summer.
Down.
I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was very good. It's basically like just a ton of car chases, except the cars are like insane. Yeah. And they were mostly practicals. Yeah. Like, all the cars, which was like really cool. This movie was great because it was like the feminist movie of the summer, except it was very much white feminist. But like all the main characters are women, and there are more. I think when I watched it, I'm pretty sure there are more women that talk than men. Yeah.
And then when they do talk, don't talk that much.
Yeah, they don't.
Sound is incredible. Honestly, the original score. This is one of the few ones that I actually downloaded and was like listening in my car and stuff. Really? Yeah, it's fantastic. And just from literally the first shot, some of the few words that the titular Max actually says, you're just off and running. It's immediate, and it for me, it was honestly kind of the perfect summer movie. It wasn't too heavy on the plot, but there was something there.
There was enough plot for it to be interesting.
Yeah, the cinematography was amazing. The action sequences incredible. Like, I felt pretty thoroughly realized characters, and then also you have the Dufour, which is a guitar player who has a flamethrower. Yeah, that was pretty cool. You got that. The main problem with this movie was that like every single character except for Zoe Kravitz was white, which is an issue. Yeah, and needs to be solved. But I do applaud their like putting women in it at least.
watch this movie here. Pitch Perfect 2. So, I liked the first Pitch Perfect movie, and then I saw Pitch Perfect 2, and there were some things I liked, but there were a lot of things that were very, very bad.
Yeah.
I think its main issue was the white feminism. Because, like, honestly, with the sort of, like, the plot and, like, the music and whatever, I didn't really have a problem with any of that. It was the way that they portrayed the women of color. Because there's one character who's from Nicaragua or somewhere, and she, like, just like make racist jokes basically all the time.
It was honestly almost bizarre for me watching it. Yeah. Kind of seeing that this is 2015 and seeing the first movie and loving the first movie because it was weird and random and whatever, and then having an entire character is a caricature. It's just a stereotype. And the same with Esther.
Yeah, that's the actress's name. Yeah, she's like the only black girl in the group, I think. Right?
Yeah.
And they, like, in the first movie she was fine. Cynthia Rose, I guess is her name.
Yeah.
And then in the second movie she turns into this, like, lesbian caricature who's just, like, very aggressively hitting on everyone the whole time. Which was very strange because she was not like that at all in the first movie.
Yeah. So I'll say it again. It was bizarre. It kind of threw me from the movie, and again, I kind of wanted to go into it like, yay, like I love Elizabeth Banks. This was her directorial debut, and it's written by women, like produced by women, and it was just kind of shocking and weird to have that in the middle of what was otherwise a decent movie. You know, it made me laugh at some parts, but.
Yeah, I gotta say, weird. I don't think that it was the direction that was the problem.
Yeah.
I definitely think it was, like, the writing, because they wrote in all these terrible jokes, basically. Yeah. I did like, how they handled the men in the movie.
I liked, so the thing is, they did ask the question, can we have it all, but it wasn't, can we have a relationship and work? It was, can I still have, like, female relationships and the friendships and stuff and, like, build a career and stuff like that.
It wasn't terribly made, it was just like, very insensitive.
Yeah.
If you want to see this movie, you can see it
here.
Yeah, in these places. Check them
right
out.
Here. Yes. Jurassic World, I personally kind of the surprise blockbuster for the summer. I did not expect it to literally break all the records ever. But once again, a decent movie. It was a great decision having Chris Pratt as your leading man, extremely charismatic, and he does his job really well in this movie. So basically, it is a continuation of the Jurassic Park world, and there is a theme park that the Bryce Dallas Howard's character runs. Things go amok. Dinosaurs happen, and Chris Pratt's character has to come in and kind of save the day. There was some controversy with Bryce Dallas Howard's character because she's seen wearing heels running through the forest, being chased by dinosaurs, and a lot of people were obviously like, that is not realistic. To that, I say, Bryce Dallas Howard actually explicitly said she made that decision to the point where the director kind of pointed out, this isn't realistic, and Bryce Dallas Howard said, I feel that for this character who's like a very kind of stereotypically like uptight person, that she would keep them on. And that itself might be a problem, but I respect, she's an actress, she made that decision. That's her thing. The special effects were, pretty good. The dinosaurs were very scary. It was actually a more violent movie than I was expecting in a weird way, but I also kind of enjoyed that. They took a little bit more risks than I thought. Very thin on plot, but a fun movie, a nice one, and made a lot of money.
You can see this movie in these places.
Another movie that I sincerely enjoyed was Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, an indie film about cancer. I was pretty hesitant to see it initially because I watched the trailer, and the whole movie is the title. It's it's the character Earl and then the dying girl. And the dying girl, I was really scared was going to be a manic pixie dream girl, because if you watch the trailer, that's what it kind of looks like. And I honestly think that was just because the people that made the trailers didn't know how else to express it. She is not that at all in the movie. She's a real character. There is nothing romantic between them the entire time. It's truly just a strict friendship, and I really appreciated that. And they actually acknowledge it in the movie. Like, in any other situation, we'd like start making out furiously, but that's like not real life, and that made it all the more poignant. It is incredibly sad, I will say, but it's really worthwhile, and once again, just something really original and a different story. And also, we're talking about more representation for people of color. Earl is an African-American teenager in a not great part of town, and is obsessed with like foreign films, and is the voice of reason for a lot of stuff, but then at the same time has his own character development and traits, and is not just the kind of stereotypical like comic foil or sidekick or anything like that. And I really appreciated it.
You can see this movie in these places. Both Jurassic World and Me, Earl and the Dying Girl came out on June 12th. AntMan and Trainwreck both came out on July 17th. I did not see Trainwreck, but we both saw AntMan. For AntMan, I enjoyed it, I guess. I thought it was fine.
It was honestly hard for me to watch the movie because I'm such an Edgar Wright fan. Edgar Wright is the director who did like Shaun of the Dead, Scott Pilgrim and stuff, and he was originally connected to direct this movie and wrote it, and then through a bunch of Marvel drama kind of left the film. And kind of, honestly, for me watching it and knowing his style and knowing what he could have done with it, because AntMan is weird. Like, just the concept of AntMan is kind of weird and bizarre. And Edgar Wright is definitely a little weird and bizarre. I kind of thought Paul Rudd was phoning it in. I normally am, I'm a huge fan of his, and he's like a very charismatic and like genuinely funny person, and kind of like just interactions and some of the other movies he's done has been a little bit unconventional. I was kind of hoping he would bring a little bit of that to this, and I didn't really feel it. I kind of felt like it was a pretty straightforward dude superhero performance.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I like Paul Rudd. I thought he did fine. And it was funnier than I like expected it to be. I kind of went in being like, oh, this is gonna be a comedy, but like it's not gonna be funny. And it was like fine. It was like funny enough, I guess.
What I will say is I felt like I saw AntMan out of obligation, which is not
me too.
Which is not what you should. That should not be the impetus for seeing a movie. But I just kind of felt like I'm already invested in this. I know I'm gonna, even though we've talked about Avengers Age of Ultron, I know I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid and watch the rest of the movies. Definitely. And I just kind of felt like, okay, I have to watch this. And I watched it, and it was but
yeah, it was like people were talking about like, oh, great heist movie. It was a heist movie. I don't think it was a great heist movie.
Yeah, and once again, there is like a point in the film where they're like trying to steal something or trying to break something, and I couldn't even remember what for, and that's not good.
And I would say this is a Marvel movie that you could definitely skip.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Watch this movie here.
I saw Trainwreck. So this is Amy Schumer's like writing debut. She's a stand-up and has her own show inside Amy Schumer that she also...
It's like a sketch show.
Yeah, sketch show that she writes and directs sometimes and produces and all that on Comedy Central. Once again, I was a fan of her comedy for a really long time and was going to this movie really excited, and...
Yeah, her show is pretty funny.
Her show is really funny, and I really, really enjoyed it. It is not a perfect movie, and at this point we are kind of getting the backlash on her when she first came out, because she is kind of a more, I hate the word crass, but I guess more kind of blue comedian. When she first came in, a lot of people were excited about that, and excited that there was a kind of a woman saying this stuff and not really caring, and now there's more of a backlash because of accusations of like white feminism and some racist jokes she's made in the past and stuff like that, which I agree with, honestly.
Yeah, it's definitely an issue.
It is an issue, and I think for a couple of them, and she has addressed it, and I think it's a problem that continues to need to be addressed. But in this movie itself, like if we're just looking at this movie, I actually don't think there was that much of a problem within the movie. She doesn't. The jokes that she's really been in hot water for were from her like stand-up routines years ago. So yeah, that is a separate issue. The movie itself, I really enjoyed because I'm not a huge romantic comedy person, and this is kind of the structure of a romantic comedy, but it does not at all adhere to the normal stereotypes. She kind of sets herself, her character's name is also Amy, she kind of sets herself up as a, you know, she drinks a lot, she has a lot of casual relationships.
As a train wreck, one might say.
And that the outside world isn't as accepting of that, but she is perfectly okay with that as a person, and I really enjoy that. And then when she does meet Bill Hader's character, who is the kind of stereotypical romantic lead, she decides, no, I do want a relationship, and that the fact that she decides I want a relationship, that's not the issue, and I appreciate that you can say I want something casual and then I want something serious, and that's not a big problem. I also like that it obviously was very funny, but there were emotional parts in it that didn't feel forced, that didn't feel random, specifically about Amy's father, who had multiple sclerosis, which her actual father in real life had. I thought the writing was incredibly strong, directing, you know, Judd Apatow is one of our better comedian directors of our time, and he definitely shows that once again. It's very original.
If you want to see this movie, you can see it
here.
Yeah, in these places. Check them
right
out.
here. Yes.
What movies would you recommend people see?
I would definitely. Okay, so definitely Mad Max Fury Road. Mean Earl and the Dying Girl, really good, very poignant.
Would you recommend? Do you think Trainwreck people would like?
I do. I think they would like it, and I think at this point, kind of Amy Schumer is becoming a more public and mainstream figure. If you've heard some of her comedy and you don't like her comedy, don't see the movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's what I would say.
What would you say definitely don't see?
I mean, I would say just don't see AntMan. There isn't really a point.
I think that's fair.
There isn't really a point. Marvel doesn't need more money. They're good.
I know, it's kind of like this summer had some pretty good movies. Like it had movies that were good. Mm-hmm. It had mostly movies that were fine.
Yeah.
And I don't think it had a lot of like really bad movies.
No.
Like I didn't see any movies that I was just like, oh god, this is the worst.
Well, okay, I saw San Andreas, but that was
well, movies that we talked about in this. Like
that was a bad decision on my part.
Most of the main like blockbuster movies were like fine.
Yeah, they were okay.
So you're not like totally wasting your time if you see any of them, I guess. This has been a summary of the 2015 summer blockbuster movies that we saw.
Thanks for watching.